This is Kickin' and Streamin' Podcast, a binge watcher's guide to streaming movies, TV series, and stuff. Here are your hosts, Graham and Jocelyn.
And hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Kickin' and Streamin' Podcast. My name is Graham, and with me in studio is the fantastic Jojo. Oh, yeah.
How did you, Graham?
Yeah, I'm doing fine, Jojo. We're doing okay. We're here in studio. It's like, boom, looking like all brand new and shit. You know what I'm saying? But that's because you're here. Because usually it's a pigsty. I'm just saying, just so you know. Yeah, I'm being real. Right, so today we are going to be talking about this little show we found on Prime Video called 000. It's a very weird title for a show, for a series. But I have to say that because I'm stupid and sometimes I guide myself by what they call a show, I decided for a few times to pass on it until there was nothing else to watch. And I decided, yeah, let me take a look at that. And that's what I did, you know. So it just turns out that it was a hell of a show. And I want to talk about it. So I asked Jojo, would you watch this and blab about it with me for a good 40 to 45 minutes?
Yes.
So I suppose I'm going to put the question out there, Jojo. How did you like it?
I liked it very much.
Did you now?
I did like it very much. And I'm
You're having PR voice and you're too far from the microphone. So
I liked it very much. No.
yes, I liked it very
I
much.
liked it very much. No, it was great. And it's a very dynamic show in that there's lots of flashbacks and there's lots of, if you don't pay close attention, you can get lost easily, but that's a good thing. I'm not saying that as a critique of it. I'm saying that's a good thing.
I think you're right. Like it's not a critique of the show at all. It's just the way everything is set up. Because if you wanted to waste everybody's time, you could have made 4 series out of this series.
Yes.
Because each family, each character in itself could be a whole series.
Yeah.
But they decided not to do that. And they decided to tell you those stories and bring you to where all of those lives converge, if you will.
Yes.
And it was perfect. I loved it.
Yeah.
Now, you have already confessed that you have yet to finish watching the show.
Yet to finish because of circumstances.
But it is, you are going to have a lot of fun finishing the show because it has a lot of twists and crazy shit happen. There's a few things about the show that I like, and is that as bonkers and wacko as things may seem in the world of narco trafficking, all this shit are possible, are plausible. Eh?
Yeah. That's I think that's the other thing too about the show is that even though, you know, you do have to pay attention to what's going on and there's a lot of flashbacks and things like that, like none of it is out of the realm of believability.
Exactly.
And the stuff that happens, even some of the most, you know, horrible stuff is stuff that has happened. I mean, so it's you know, parts of it could be ripped from headlines if you want to put it that way.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's an element of that in there because we all have woken up to the news that the cartel in Mexico fucking kidnapped a whole bus full of people and killed all of them on camera.
Yes.
Or we all have woken up to the news of an entire town just being overtaken by the cartel, where the Mexican army cannot even dare to come in there and do anything.
Yeah.
So these things are possible, but at the same time, one of the things I think, because of Hollywood, we've all gotten to believe in, which isn't true, is that the most powerful branch of mafia is in the United States. I'm talking about Italian mafia. And that is not true. And to be honest, the hardest mafia don from the United States has always been taking their clues and their orders from Italy,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Because Italy is where it all is. And so this series goes into that, and it goes a bit deeper into the traditions and the core tenets, right?
Yeah.
Of mafia, of organized crimes, in the hierarchy, the sacrifices, and almost the historic context behind it, because it's all structured like the Roman Empire, if you will.
Yeah.
And so we'll go a little bit more into that. And then you have the less criminal side of it, which is the people who dress up every day and go to work, and on the one front they are, a respectable business family, and on the other side of the coin they are deep, deep, deep into criminal activities that you could never suspect.
Yeah.
They are part of high society. They have the friends in all walks of life, and you would never dare to think of them as crooks,
Yeah.
and yet they are, and they are known as the brokers.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So we're gonna talk a bit more about that. But Jojo, I think, limited as that may be, but knowing the synopsis of this movie, what can you tell us about it? Oh, movie, did I say? No, the series.
I'm going to say, wait, we were talking about a series, right? Because I probably could have watched a whole movie. So 000, what is the name which you mentioned earlier, which was the reason why you had passed on it. The reason it is called that is 000 is a name for flour, and it's at its purest is what it's called. And so in drug trafficking, that is what they use for cocaine. The purest cocaine is known as 000. So that's where this gets its name
I didn't
from.
know that shit. Look at you, man. Yo.
Education.
Lord, we can go into business now. I know shit.
But yeah, so it is about the mob, the mafia mob, the cartels, and the American family that is, I guess, I don't know, one of the middlemen, you would call it.
The broker, yeah.
The broker,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's the story of all of these people and how they come together, and it is the story of one shipment of cocaine in particular, and the way it goes very, very wrong, and sort of a mishap in shipment, if you will, and all of the drama and everything that happens along the way with it.
Yeah, that is, in a nutshell, what it's all about. And I ended up liking this show, as I told you, Jojo, because I like the fact that it presents so many different aspects. It wasn't all about the crime. It wasn't all about, first of all, it tells you all that it takes to take a shipment of drugs from one place to another.
Yeah.
All the steps that need to be taken, all the bribes that need to happen,
Yeah.
all the people who get involved, and all the lives that it may cost
Yeah.
during the trajectory before it gets to its final destination. And still, that's not even to the distribution part.
True.
Where also it there's more lives to be taken, because
Yeah.
if you add to that things like overdoses and stuff like that, then yeah, there's a lot to consider here.
Yeah. It's the kind of thing that so many people are involved in bringing a shipment to wherever it's going. It's almost kind of amazing that it happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's kind of the kind of thing that's like there's so many people involved and there's so many moving pieces and so many ways that it could go wrong. How does it ever possibly go right? But it goes obviously that it goes right way more often than it goes wrong.
Yeah, because you have there's a booming drug trafficking
Right.
market out there, isn't
Right,
it?
right. You know, the people are making quite a bit of money off of it. So it's very interesting to me because it's the kind of thing I think that on paper or in theory or in, I don't know if you went to criminology or whatever,
Yeah.
you would be like, yeah, no, that would never work. That you've got too many people. Somebody's going to talk. This is going to happen. That's going to happen. And there's no way I could ever possibly go through.
And it happens. This particular one is bloody, but I never found the bloodiness of it gratuitous.
No.
Again, because it's sort of like slightly very faithful to reality.
Yeah.
You know, narco is a bloody business.
Yes.
And I think that they did their best to, even though it is a fictional story, to keep the element of reality in it, that whenever you saw things happening, the first thing that came to mind is, I think I read something similar to this. I think I heard something similar to this.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happened throughout the entire series.
Yeah. Yeah.
To be honest, the one thing that I wasn't familiar with at all was the broker part of it.
Correct.
And in that respect, I can't tell you whether or not that's a faithful rendition of it. You know, but what do you think of each one of these elements? The way these were presented, we are familiar with the notion, the idea of criminal families.
Sure.
But whenever American movies have touched on that, it has always been just a means to come to that part where the Americans are the one in charge.
Right.
So to a certain extent, it almost makes you feel like, yeah, the old school is what's in Italy and the Americans modernized it. But the fact of the matter is, the more modernized mafia becomes, the easier it becomes for law enforcement to catch up to it.
Very true.
Whereas
Very, very true.
the more old school, Julius Caesar, Roman Empire that it stays,
yeah,
the least it is to be found and to be infiltrated.
Yeah.
Which is what that brand of from Italy mafia brings to the table. And I think we should all, and I'm not saying we should all take a look at it to learn anything. I'm just saying that we should know.
When starting your own mafia, make sure you follow the old Italian rule book. Do not follow the new modern American rule book. It will get you caught.
Don't be going gaudy on people and shit, because that shit don't work.
You will end up in federal prison.
But I think the story told from the perspective of Mexico was incredibly compelling.
Yes.
Because it tells you the story of how some people fall victim to the bribes, victim to narco trafficking.
Yeah.
But yet it also tells you how some people are so convinced that they're doing the right thing, they end up literally being part of the problem.
Yeah.
And in this particular case, we're talking about one of the characters. I believe his name was Manuel Contreras. Manuel Contreras is part of this elite squad of the Mexican army that their main job is to basically hunt down. And it feels like when you first meet this character, he actually hates the traffickers in what they're doing to the town.
Right.
But at the same time, he has some very weird ambition that he has latched on to a religious sense of purpose, if you will.
Yeah.
That one bad thing can be used to do greater, better things, right? But that's the story he tells himself
right.
at the end of the day, isn't it?
Right. That's what he tells himself so he can sleep at night or, through the day or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and that here is an interesting thing. Is an interesting, very interesting part of this series. But also, let's talk about the broker.
Yes.
It when it starts, you could be led to think that being a broker to the mafia and to the Mexican cartel is the least dangerous thing.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. But
damn,
But he-
shit went south really fast.
yeah. And I don't know if I were ever in the position to be approached to be a broker, which would never in a bajillion years happen. But all I would need to hear is mafia and cartel, and I would be like, no, thank you. Thank you, but no, thank you. Please don't kill me.
The thing is that, like, if you think about like the head of the family of the brokers, he treats these people like business people.
Yes.
His approach to the whole thing is business.
It's business, yes.
And he gives them the respect of businessmen.
Yes.
And like there's no crime involved in any of it.
Well, I think to him it's not. It isn't. Like to him, it is just simply business. Crime doesn't come into it at all. It's just a product,
Yeah. Well,
and it doesn't
I
matter.
deliver this from point A to point B. You pay me, we're good.
Yeah. And
Right.
I'm not going to ask about what's inside of it. And even though, I mean, obviously he knows and everything, but I'm just, that's the thing he could say is that's all I'm doing. I'm just moving this from point A to point B.
Yeah. Yeah. And
It
so
could be candy.
for all I care.
As long as you pay me.
Did I get paid? Yes. So fuck off.
Right.
And so on the side of the family in Italy that places the order, that's where things got complicated, and complicated things in America and complicated things in Mexico. Because much in the same way that the Roman Empire involved backstabbing and treason and all of that,
Literal backstabbing.
you've got the same problem with mafia. Is if one family is not trying to take you out, it's going to be one person or a little faction within your family trying to take you out. Except in this case, we were talking about a grandson versus his own grandfather. We are going to talk about the cast a little bit more, but what else can be said about this, Jojo?
It's sort of for me, a reason to watch it too is, and I haven't finished it, of course, but a reason to watch it is it's not really your typical trafficking show, you know, at all. It's not, we're going to follow the cops and they're the good guys, and this is, good guy gets bad guy and that kind of thing. It's more about the journey of the cocaine and the people along the way.
Yes.
And I think that that's a great reason to watch it, because it's not a take that I've seen before in this particular kind of story. And then to have all this great characterization that's going on around the people that are involved in the shipment of cocaine.
And I love that you pointed out this part of it, because, Hollywood has gotten us used to, you have to root for this side or root for that side.
Right.
And none of that happens here.
No.
None of that happens here.
No.
You just want to see the conclusion. It's like Michael Jackson in that famous meme of Thriller, where he's just like
the
eating his popcorn.
Yes.
He's like,
Yes.
I'm just going to sit here and watch what's going to happen.
Yes.
I don't care who dies. I don't care who survives. I don't care if it makes it to where it makes it. I just want to see. And there are so, like, when I tell you that in every episode shit keeps going south, I don't know how much more south it could go. Oh my God. Like, it's 8 episodes, and there is not one episode you could say that was what you would call a fill-in episode. There's no such a thing. No, seriously, man.
It's gone so far south, it's coming back north.
Like, yeah. Went around, man. It went around. Like, I'm telling you. So, how do you manage to get a group of writers in a room to write stories that are compelling, plausible more than anything else, and and well told. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know who. Let's figure this one out. Who wrote this? It is based on a book by Roberto Saviano.
The series was created by Stefano Salima, Leonardo Fasoli, and Mauricio Katz.
All right, so let's talk about the cast, Jojo. Right? What do we have for cast here? The family that is American. I think none of them are American. That's the soup du jour, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people playing Americans that are very far from being American. And the crazy thing is, Americans can't say to them, "You have a nice accent. Where are you from?" Because they good at doing the American accent. They are good.
They are good. Yeah. There are some non-American folks who do an American accent that is very grating, but I didn't find that the case here.
So we have three people that form the American family. So the characters are Emma, Chris, and Edward. Edward is Edward Linwood, and he's played by Gabriel Byrne, who is Irish. And I think he is in the first 3 episodes.
I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah, because
Because I didn't get to finish it, so I'm gonna say yes. I trust you.
Yeah. You want to say the deputy, the matriarch incoming of the Linwood family is Emma Linwood, played by Andrea Riseborough. Now, this one is an actress I wasn't familiar with. And because she is sort of like a weird clone of Tilda Swinton on this one, I wanted to find out more about her. Like, who is this chick, right? And the movies that she's been on before that is Birdman. Birdman was actually, didn't Birdman win an Oscar and everything?
It's a very, very good movie. If you haven't seen it, with Michael Keaton.
Yes. Yeah. And that's the one directed by Alejandro González Iñárritu.
I believe so, yes.
Yes. So she was on that. And Oblivion?
I haven't.
I know of this one, but I haven't. There's not much I can say about it. And it was, for me, it was kind of weird because she's giving you this really funky American accent. And when I researched her, she is from Newcastle upon Tyne. And my friends, if you are looking for a strong, weird English accent, you have to hear the Geordie accent and almost think it is impossible for this person to speak with an American accent. Let me tell you something. She nails it, man. For a Geordie, she nails it. Nails it. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it is. I've heard that accent, and it's the kind of thing where it doesn't even sound like English. To me, I mean, there's like words that are in it that it's like, okay, that I'm pretty sure that's an English word, but the rest of it is it's yeah.
So Andrea Riseborough does a fantastic job mimicking the American accent for someone who is originally from Newcastle. But that's her training, of course. So why not? She certainly does that. Dane DeHaan is this chap that plays Chris Linwood, and it is from Allentown, Pennsylvania. But if you look at the last name, DeHaan, it could be a Dutch name, but everything about him screams Sweden, Finland, you know. But he's also a very good actor, and he does an absolutely fantastic job on this movie because he was able to convince me of his illness. And he's been on The Amazing Spider-Man 2, The Place Beyond the Pines, and also in Chronicle. He is He's fabulous. I like what he did in this.
He is very, very good, and I'm trying to figure out, and I tried to figure out before where I'd seen what I had seen him in, and I didn't. I don't think I've seen anything that he's been in, so I'm confused, but it's okay.
Yeah, but he's been around.
He's been around.
Now,
But he's very, very good.
the actor who, to me, is the revelation, and I hope to see this dude in more and more and more stuff from now on, is Harold Torres, who plays Manuel Contreras. This guy is absolutely amazing. He is great at playing an absolute fucking maniac. He's got a coldness in his eyes. Like, even people that he's good to, you can see that they fear him because they don't know where he's coming from.
Right.
Like, I know you're playing that you're good to me, but something about me about you tell me that you're gonna fucking eat me at some point.
Yeah, you're gonna rip my face off.
Yes, that was the kind of character he played, and he was fabulous. He was great. I loved every moment. I enjoyed seeing him on screen. So his name is Harold Torres, and I think this is the first thing he does. He's done like internationally. He's won all kinds of awards in Mexico, but it is insane. I'm so looking forward to see more of him.
Yeah.
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 Okay. So let's go then to Giuseppe Di Domenico, played Stefano in this. He is the grandson of Don Mino. Don Mino is the capo di tutti capi in the mafia. Now, Don Mino is played by a dude that is, if you see his picture, you're like, what a terrific, lovable old Italian grandpa.
Yeah, he looks like somebody you could sit down and have,
Yeah. Have a couple of, coloccini with and
Yeah,
shit,
yeah.
But this motherfucker's bad. His name is Adriano Chiaramida, and he plays Don Mino in this series, and he is from Livorno, Tuscany, in Italy, and he's been pretty much a big star in Italy. He's been in everything in Italy, so I don't remember ever seeing this guy in anything on this side of the continent.
Yeah. He's actually older than I thought he was for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1941. Yeah, that's quite, like, actually he's turning 80
Yeah.
this year. Yeah. But like, if you see his CV, he's done everything in Italy. Everything. So
Yeah.
But on this one, he was convincing. He was great. Who else can we talk about here? Characters that actors who played a character that actually got us talking. Not much, really.
Yeah, and everybody is really good in the parts that they play. But I nobody's really jumping out as
The entire crew, the entire Mexican actors, the crew of
Yeah.
Mexican actors were
Yes.
fabulous. This
Yes.
girl, Claudia Pineda, she played Chiquitita. She was the pregnant girl and whatever. She was absolutely great. She stole all the scenes
Yeah.
she was in. The guys who played the Leira brothers, Flavio Medina, and what's the other name? Victor Hugo Martin. They were the Leira brothers. They played the typical narco traffickers who think of themselves more as businessmen.
Yeah.
But They have all kinds of sicarios out there that can do the job for them. But this show is, again, 8 episodes. There's not a lot you can say about it other than watch it, because
Mhm.
if you start watching it, you're not gonna want to stop. And it's not one of the shows that you're gonna come to a point and say, I don't think I can watch this anymore. What do you think?
I agree.
That's it right there, man.
It's on Amazon.
It's on Amazon.
And yeah, it's
000.
000.
I always had questions as to why it was called 000. And Jojo,
Thanks to me.
opened up her nerd box. Because Jojo, man, she's like, yeah, let me find out.
I have to know all the things.
And speaking of nerd box, if you are free on Saturday nights, you can join us on Clubhouse. You can search us, right? It's Kicking and Streaming Hub, HUB, Kicking and Streaming Hub. That's our club. That's our little thing on Clubhouse. And we have a night of trivia starting at 10 p.m. Eastern time. 10 p.m., 9 p.m. Central, right?
Yes.
So what happens there is that we come up with questions, trivia questions. If you answer one question, you get to ask the next question, but you don't have to participate if you don't want to. If you just want to just lurk, right? Just stay in there, just listen. That's perfectly fine too. All we would like is for you to join us and see how we do. It's a bar style trivia night. So open a beer,
Yeah.
get a glass of wine.
Yeah.
Join us.
Cocktail, whatever.
Yeah.
Apple juice if you don't imbibe.
Apple juice.
Apple juice. Ginger ale. Water.
So, all right. So here's the thing. After almost a year and a half that we didn't podcast together in the same room, the same studio, Jojo is here with me today. But sadly, it is also the last time for a long time that she's going to be here in studio with me. And as you can see, as you can tell, we've done this. We are definitely a different breed when we are together. That's why we started this podcast together, because we vibe from one another so well that you can't stand us. Seriously.
We're obnoxious.
I'm serious.
I love it.
So my fantastic co-host is leaving the state of North Carolina and moving on to another state. And I am going to miss you. And to a certain extent, the good thing is at least I hadn't seen you, even though we are pretty much in the same city. I wasn't able to see you for a long time. So it's not as heartbreaking, but it's still heartbreaking to see you go. So I want to take this moment to thank you for saying yes when I asked you to do this podcast, because I wasn't expecting it. I've said that before. I wasn't expecting you to say yes.
Yeah.
And, we've done this for almost 3 years.
Yeah.
For almost 3 years. And we've had some difficult moments in this road, in this podcasting road. I am not the greatest guy to get along with sometimes. And I tend to be a bit rigid about stuff. I tend to want an immediate reaction and stuff. And sometimes Jocelyn is a little bit more relaxed than I am, and it drives me bloody nuts. But I cannot think of anyone else that I want to do this with. And unless you move to Mars, or some shit.
I'm not.
We're gonna be doing this for a long ass time.
Yes.
So, George, bring it in. Oh man, folks, you've seen it right here. Georgia, anything you want to say?
I'm glad I said yes.
Nice. That's she's a few words like that. you know.
I am a bear of little brain,
I'm just saying.
and no. I wish the pandemic hadn't happened so that we could have been doing all this in studio all the time. But
Yeah, fuck COVID.
yeah, fuck COVID. Fuck COVID.
Very well then. So we're gonna call it a day. Georgia and I, we have to catch up with a couple more beers or wine or whatever.
Yeah,
Well,
that too.
and then we'll see you guys next time. Possibly the next episode, I'm going to have be in the company of someone else who will be stepping in for Jojo. I have a couple of volunteers who like, yeah, man, we'll gladly. But we'll give Jojo some space to acclimate to her new state. And then we'll be podcasting for you one more time very, very soon. So, Jojo, this is not even goodbye. So, whatever, dude. See you.
Whatever, dude.
Yes.
Whatever, dude.
All right. So, let's say goodbye now. Bye, folks.
Bye, everybody.
To you guys.
Thank you.
Not to George.
Thank you for listening to Kickin' and Streamin' Podcast. If you've found value in our content, please subscribe and share. We would also be delighted to hear what you think of this podcast. So please rate us by writing a quick review on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast platform. Follow us on all major social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest. Join the conversation happening today on our Facebook group.